We'd like to say good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. This is Church Information and Open Forum. I'm Marion Barnett, your host, each and every Saturday morning from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. right here on Knon 89.3 FM, the voice of the people. Got a lot of things going on, a lot of things to talk about this morning. We are scheduled to have a young lady on. She's the head of the Mothers Against Police Brutality. We're going to be should be on in any moment now, and we're going to talk about police brutality, especially among our young people, Mothers Against Police Brutality. But we'd like to say a good morning to Reverend Ron Wright and all the members of, Justice Seekers of Texas, and he's having his big affair over there at the Joe Louis Arena. They used to be called Jesse Owensville, but they named all that after Robert Thomas, former athletic director here in DISD. That's there right next to Fair Park. And he'll be kicking his program off, I think, about 10 a.m. this morning. So God bless him, and all the members of Justice Seekers of Texas. And there are so many other things that are going on in our community, and we hopefully, I guess, be arriving. I don't want to get ahead of her, but it's just so much to talk about. Want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and Happy Kwanzaa. Those who celebrated Hanukkah, God bless you. And we just wish everybody that they hope you have a joyous season, because there are too many people that believe that this is not a season to be jolly. For a lot of people, it's a lonely time of the year. But for those who are happy and having a great time during this time of the year, I applaud you. I thank God for it. It's only by the grace of God that we are even here. So we thank God for all of the things that are going on. Remember, you may not get the gift you want, but you got the greatest gift of all, Jesus Christ. So you're having a good Christmas. I never have asked a person if they're having a good Christmas or not. No, I never asked anything like that. Because if you're alive and well, you're having a good Christmas. You're having a great Christmas. And if you have your life, your health, and your strength, you have just about everything. You've got everything, and you are blessed, and blessed better than blessed. So we just want to have a wonderful holiday season. Hopefully everybody be happy, and a happy new year. The story of the year, 2013. What is the story of the year? 2013. What is the story of the year? What was the biggest story to you in the year 2013? What was the biggest thing that happened to you personally in 2013? What went on in 13 that you think you will always remember? Did something happen? So did something happen in the year 2013 that you will take that to your grave? You just will remember. It was an occasion. I don't know if it was a shocker, if it was joy or a tragedy. What happened in 2013? Was this a year? To me, it seems like as the years go on, they're getting faster and faster. This seemed to have been a very short year to me. But there were so many things that happened. But what was the biggest thing that happened to you? What happened? Was it something good, something great? Was there something that happened that you'll always remember? Or was it to you a bland year that maybe nothing really happened that will impress your memory? Is there anything in 2013 that went on? What is it? Give me a call, 972-647 1-893-972-647. 1-893 is the number to call. Give me a call. Give us a call. 972-647-1893, 2013. We want to remember this year. This was a year that God gave grace for us to see it. And did you make any strides in 2013? Did you do anything that's gonna, you think, be very impressive for the rest of your life? Did you move forward? Did you make any decisions in 13 that you think will help you to do things better, will make your life much better, the quality of your life? Will it get better because of some decisions in 2013? We wonder about that. 972-647-1893 is that number to call. We wonder about this year. Was it maybe a religious experience? Maybe you married, maybe you, I don't know, childbirth or whatever. This year is just about over. We have about a week and 5 days, 12 days left. In 2013, 11 to 12 days, and it's just about over. It's just about over. Did you make your mark? Was it a success for you? Did you reach the goal? Do you set goals for your life? Do you plan to be at a certain point at a certain time at 2013? Do you have an idea where you should be now? And has it been a time in your life that you can say, hey, I like this. I like this. I'm getting more control over my life. What about that? 972-647-1893. The big news stories. What were some of them? The big items that happened. Can we remember anything that was big? Were there any giant news stories in 2013? Now, there are some years, I'll admit, that I can think of things that were horrendous. There are certain things that happen in life. Take the assassination of John F. Kennedy, 1963. I can remember exactly where I was and what I was doing when I heard the news of the death of President Kennedy. He had been shot. At first, he had been shot. This was about 12:30. I was taking a biology exam. I was in the 10th grade, taking a biology exam, and when the principal came over the loudspeaker and said, President Kennedy has been shot. Came over the PA system, and you have to realize that nothing really great at that time had ever happened in my life. Nothing horrific like that, and hardly in America. So that was a shocker for my generation. That was a shocker. Also, in 1968, right after that, when we heard that Dr. Martin Luther King had been shot in Memphis, Tennessee. That was another. I remember exactly where I was. I was working in Garland at a place called LT Industries. I was working during that time, that evening, when old man came by and was talking about it and said he had been shot. Quite naturally, remember 9/11, 2001. I was right here on the air. It was a Tuesday morning right here on KNON, 2011, when we heard Shawanda Riley came into the studio and told me that an airplane had hit the World Trade Center. And I was talking with Peter Johnson. We were talking about civil rights. I mean, these are some things that happened over the years that you can never, ever forget. I can remember Bobby Kennedy being shot that night. But you can call me at 972-647-1893. I remember 64, the Civil Rights Bill being signed. Oh, that was something. That was great. Just certain things happen in life. You memorizing, overlooking your life. 2013. 972-647-1893. Let's go to line 2 and say good morning to Concerned Citizen. Good morning, Concerned Citizen.
How you doing this morning?
Fine. How are you?
I hope you have a real good holiday season. I hope everybody get their minds together and understand what's going on.
Okay.
And the number one deal for me this year is when we have a sitting president that's advocating for gay rights and gay people. That's our system in America is built up on Christianity, and the real Christianity don't advocate for gays. Now, the reason why I say that, because other people of faith, when they get in office, they talk down about them and what they believe in. Let's just take an example. When they found out that there was a Muslim congressman, they talked bad about him and went against him. They said they would never vote for Muslim, and you got a sitting president that's advocating for gays. And then this guy that got TV station, he tells the truth about gays against God, and they for it. I mean, come on, man. What's going on with America, brother?
Well, do you believe that gay people should have the same rights everyone else have?
No, sir. God didn't believe that. God, won't you, if you go to Scripture, what God said about people that strayed.
People that's what?
That has strayed from man marrying a woman and woman marrying a man. You go to Scripture, and when you read it, you'll know what it says. It's in there.
And you said they've gone astray?
They have gone astray. There's no one born other than a man or a woman. They have been misled or been doctored in the wrong way by a doctor, or something has went astray. God did not create that. This is what I'm trying to tell you.
Mm-hmm. So you're saying that the president shouldn't be speaking for gay people, huh?
No, because it's all about the money. They put money in his pocket because they got a real good, strong money base now.
Well, now, you're right about this. You're right about that. But now, let me ask you something.
Yes, sir.
Is he governed by the Bible or the United States Constitution?
Well, they act, I just said that a while ago, they act like they're governed by a Christian nation.
Well, now, wait a minute. I'm going to be honest. I have problems with America saying they are a Christian nation, because most of those who signed the Constitution were deists. They were not Christians, as we know them. They were deists. They were not Christians. Secondly, how can you be a Christian nation when you write in your own Constitution that a human being is 3/5 human? That's what they said we are in the Constitution. So I hear people say that all the time, but I've never seen the true evidence of America being a Christian nation when it takes people out and hang them and take their women and rape them and murder them and things like this that have gone on since the beginning and before the beginning of America. I haven't seen any evidence of America being a Christian nation. Have you?
Have a Reverend Barnett. You know what I'm saying is the truth. We on the same page, but I want you to understand. Now, if your president right now, I voted for him the first time. Your president right now come out and say he's Muslim, I bet his rating go to 0. Now, tell me the truth. Am I right or wrong?
I don't know, because there are a lot of people who have said, although he declares he's a Christian, he says he's not a Muslim. So there are a lot of people who have said he was, but that didn't destroy his ratings. The people are looking at how well will he perform, how well will this health care come out, how well will they have money in their pocketbooks, can they pay their mortgages and car notes and everything. This is what I see most people want out of a president. Sure, there's those who hate him because of his race and different things like that. But there will always be hatred in America. So those who declare America a Christian nation, remember, America came here, and these people came here and took this nation from a fine people that was here already. They were here. This was their country. We came in and declared some type of what they call manifest destiny, and from the Atlantic to the Pacific, and killed people and did everything and pilfering their land and killing them. So, yeah, come on.
There's nothing wrong with Christians. The problem is right and wrong. Nothing wrong with Christians. Mm-hmm. That's what my point is. I'm trying to get across.
Yeah.
Because
I hear what you're saying. I don't ever think for 1 second I don't hear and understand everything you're saying. But my thing is, he's the president. He's not the pastor of America. Now, we all have personal beliefs about this. But when you're in a position that you're supposed to represent all the people, can you imagine him taking a segment of the population out and disdaining them and putting them out?
Let me say one more thing. Mm-hmm. All the other presidents never came out and advocated for gay rights. And this man has done it twice. I mean, there's no other president. Why people of color have to always do something and then the blame fall on us? Why do people of color have to do something that is out of the mainstream when we ain't got our 40 acres, our mule, we ain't got shelters, we still got problems? I mean, come on, why did you step out? Get one thing right first.
Did we give him $735 million in just one election? We gave him our vote, but we didn't give him $735 million. Now, let's be honest about politics. Is who supports you. Uh-huh. You go along, you help those who support you, and you punish those who don't support you. Now, you're right. We gave him 96% of our vote in both elections. But they gave him a lot of money. Money talks. The reason why I haven't agreed to everything the president done, because he done some things for Wall Street that I thought he should have done for Main Street. But guess what? The big boys on Wall Street, they pay. We have to understand that America, we say we are a country of progressives and liberals and all. We are a fascist country. We are run by big business, and believe me, there are a lot of gay people in high positions in big business.
We know that.
I just want you to understand. I'm up against a break, but thank you for your call, all right? Okay. And those who would like to comment behind you had a very good call. Those who would like to comment behind you can call me at 972-647-1893. Bye. Greeting us with open arms and peace forevermore. I know that everything is gonna be. All right, we're back on Church Information and Open Forum. Our guest, we just contacted her. She is on her way. She's trying to find our building here at Maple. If you're listening, it's at Maple and Butler, 2-story building. She asked the color. I am so sorry. I've looked at this building for years. I don't know what color this building is. It's, I think it's brown. I believe. I wouldn't bet any money on that. But right here on the corner of Maple and Butler, some of y'all who know what color this building is, call and tell me what color this building is. I don't know. It's a 2-story building. That's all I know. And we're up on the 2nd floor. And y'all can call us at 972-647-1893, 972-647-1893. If you agree or disagree with our first call, very interesting call. People have their ideals. You have your mores. You can, I don't knock anybody's beliefs in certain things. If you have a biblical belief on certain issues, if that's what you believe. That's what you believe. And I don't go along. I'm not one of those who will knock people on whether they believe one way or the other if they have a basic biblical belief on certain things. And many of you do. I know this. And no, you won't get knocked on this program if you have your basic biblical belief. I have mine, and I don't believe in discrimination of anybody. I don't think people should be put down because of certain things. Now, there's not a family. There's not nobody listening to me. Nobody listening to me that don't have someone that's a homosexual in their family or close to someone. There's nobody. There's nobody. There's nobody. And if you love your loved ones, you don't want people putting them down. You don't want people talking about them. So, I mean, that's just life. Now, there are some people don't care. They'll just say anything and try to hurt people's feelings. I can't do that. I just don't. I'm very sensitive about not trying to hurt people's feelings. I go around it before. Now, I'll call people out on when they're doing wrong, but I'm not there to hurt their feelings. I'm trying to change their hearts. And it's just that's just the way life is. All right. 972-647-1893 is this line 2. All righty. Let's say good morning to Sydney. All righty. Good morning, Sydney.
How you doing, Reverend Barnett?
Fine. How are you this morning?
Yeah, I was listening to the last comment. That's been around a long time. But what's getting me right now is how many people are getting killed by these white people. And I'm gonna say white people because they're not doing anything about it.
Right. I agree.
You know, Trayvon Martin. You had that guy. They broke this man's head off.
Yeah.
Down here in Jasper. You know what I'm saying?
I hear what you're saying.
And they drowned it. Now this ain't 2013, but they drowned some guys down there. I forget the name of the town. How you gonna bring somebody across the lake handcuffed with no life preservers on?
Yeah.
You see? You see, and this stuff is just going on and on. And it's not just, you know, the black race, it's the minority race, because they kill these this white kid, kill these Spanish people, you know, 4 of them, and they didn't do nothing but send him to a little camp. That's
what guy killed 4 and they sent him to camp?
This 17-year-old boy. Just because his family was rich.
Did they send him to a camp? I didn't know he went anywhere, did he?
It's supposed to be a rehab. They sent him to a rehab.
Anytime you got a rehab that expensive, don't worry. There's nothing to that. It's nothing.
The judge was, you know, she's going to retire anyway, you know. So, you know, I don't feel that was fair.
Yeah.
And like old Trayvon Martin, this boy has some money, too. Who's to say he didn't pay for the judge? You know, he's trying to hide his money, and this ain't the only thing he done, you know.
Yeah.
You know, on that case. So.
Do you think Trayvon Martin was the biggest story of the year?
The guy that killed that child, yeah, he had a little money. His daddy's a judge. It was known.
Yeah, he was a justice of the peace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a good old boy system. You know what I'm saying?
Wow. Yeah, you're right. You're right. And when we look at situation, we got so many things going on around us that only God can really help us, because everything we do, if we go, there's no system perfect for us here on earth. If we embrace one group, they say that they are for things that we don't like. We embrace another group, they are for things we don't like. So I mean, until we embrace ourselves and our God, we will not get really where we want to go. So I hear what you're saying. There are many cases and instances. We have the young lady get here this morning. We're going to talk about a young man down off of Dixon Circle, where the police killed this young man.
Yeah, he was. Yeah,
didn't have to.
Yeah.
And it caused some people to get stirred up. The media, the white racist media, called it a riot. It wasn't a riot. It wasn't about a riot. Anytime we rise up, rising against what we believe to have been wrong, they call it a riot.
Yeah.
But
that's the same thing they did back in the 60s.
Yeah.
The same exact thing.
They never explained the injustices that had come down that caused the whole problem. So, and this is one of the situations where they have this going on, and we want to talk about that. We want to talk about our young people. We want to talk about police brutality throughout this city and throughout this nation. And these are the things that we need to be concerning ourselves with. And people's sexual preference, that's one thing. You have your basic beliefs. But I have my belief that there are other far more important issues that's gonna affect me. That's where somebody,
or my children or somebody else, children or something.
Yeah, then something like that.
Somebody's sexuality. I don't have, what they do. As long as they doing it out there, when you start killing people, kids and stuff like that, and killing people and getting away with it, that's what bothers me.
Yeah. All righty. We thank you for your call and comment. All right. That clears the line. 972-647-1893. 972-647-1893. How important is a person's sexuality to you? A person that you just see down the streets. I see people that will see gay people that are openly gay just get so mad and angry with them. They act like they want to destroy them. This is between them and God. This is between them and God. And I really don't believe in condemning the human being. Now, we want to say that we are a Christian nation, but there are so many other things that are abominations. Also, we find that in our system, that person might be overweight. That's an abomination. Overeating, gluttony. What about that? 972-647-1893. Let's go to line one and say good morning to Kathy. Already. Good morning, Kathy.
Good morning, Reverend Barnett.
How are you this morning?
I'm fine, thank you. Just out in the rain. But I wanted to make a comment regarding the caller earlier that I heard who was kind of like what you were saying, trying to make a point about what's an abomination, what the Bible speaks against, and things like that. And I personally try to live my life in such a way that I can bring honor to the name of God. So, and to my beliefs, not that I want to throw them in anybody's face, not that I want to hit anybody upside the head with those beliefs, but that I just want to be an example of those beliefs. And that's the best that we can do as Christians, because we're all fallen. We're all fallen in some aspect of our lives. None of us is righteous according to Scripture, and none of us is perfect according to Scripture. And there is no big sin and no little sin. All have sinned and fallen short.
Well, but there are those who persistently go after certain people because they don't like their lifestyles. People are entitled. Hello?
Yes, sir.
All right. Getting a lot of feedback. People are entitled to their beliefs, and if that's what they believe, but that's just not the way I feel about the situation. I can only give my own personal beliefs on that.
Yes, sir. I agree with you that we can model what we think to be the right thing, and hopefully, as it says in Scripture, if you let your light so shine before men, so that they may see your good works and glorify God.
Right.
That's what we should be striving for. I get so frustrated when I hear people say, "Because I'm a Christian, I stand against." That's not really what Jesus taught.
No, Jesus didn't come into the world standing against anything. He came to make us free.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
And I think what we do is take something what God didn't give to us and place it on people. See, we try to live by the law. God never gave us the law.
And we tend to be so punitive, and we don't. Yeah. We are here just as Jesus was, to try and give people hope, not to make them so despairing and so distressed that they don't see a light that they can run to and walk to and ask for help. Yeah. That's where it is. That's
all right.
It needs to be.
We thank you. All right, thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right, let's go to line 2 and say good morning to Michael. Good morning, Michael.
Hey, good morning. This is the guy that called last week. First, I seemed like a radical Christian, then I seemed like a radical Marxist. I'm probably somewhere in between. And I wanted to say something about class, because class is where one person judges another. And we got this new pope, and I don't know, he was kind of on both sides back in Argentina. Right. But I think he's repented, and I think he is really going to be a man for the people. I think he repented for trying to be with the junta and the poor in Argentina. Now he's saying, who am I to judge? And he was saying that about Protestants and I think homosexuals. I'm not sure. But I would like to extend that to all human beings, especially people of the lower class, especially the victims of police brutality. You know, police brutality affects us every day because we're afraid to call 911 because the 911 people are going to come chasing us for calling them. But that's not the way it should be. You know, you can call 911 and you do not have to face the police. You can call 911 and stop a crime that's in progress. And I've done it 100 times, and they've got me on tape, just like y'all do, 100 times, saying you can tell the criminal to stop, and then when 911 wants to come get you, you can say, no, you're accusing me of trying to be getting me in trouble when I just stopped a crime. Get away from me. And I say, get away from me, Satan, if I need to the 911 operator that starts arguing with me and shouting me down. Now, you can talk. You're the show host.
Well, I look at it like this. You're so right. There's a class system, and there is a class system, believe it or not, in religion. There are some people who look at themselves as being a better person than they are because they believe that because they keep certain laws and certain commandments that they don't break. I know. I'm better than you, but they don't realize there are those 2 or 3 they keep. There's about 610 left that they should keep that they don't even know. There are 613 commandments in the Bible, in the Mosaic Law, that most people, hardly nobody knows them all, and we don't look at that. The only way we are what we are Christians is because of the righteousness of Jesus Christ and our faith in him. And God, he's the one who gives us our faith. He's the author and finisher of our faith. And he does these things for us, and none of us have anything to brag about how good we are or to criticize other people. I thank you for your call. Do we have, can we take one more? We'll go to Miss Collette Flanagan in our next segment with Mothers Against Police Brutality. Who do we have on that one? I don't know. Elnora? All right. Good morning, Elnora. Is Elnora there?
This is she.
Yeah, go right ahead.
Sir, I was laying in the bed and listening to the conversation about the gays and all of this and the president and all of that, and I just wanted to have a comment. You know, people study the Bible and they read the Bible, but they take different parts from that Bible just to suit whatever situation they're in. But God created all people, and reading the Bible, I see some places there where there was gay people in the beginning, because I was in Solomon and Gomorrah. They tell how these men was even trying to get Christ. So, and I'm saying you're supposed to render to Caesar what is Caesar and to God what is God. So you got to separate that. Some of them are saying the president should take the place of the minister. And a minister is supposed to be there to be over the peoples in the church, okay? Now, there are some people that we elect, they may not know nothing about the Bible, in my case, but I don't put my trust in them. I put my trust in God. Now, I voted for president and stuff, But I don't put my trust in no president.
That's right.
Or politician. My trust is in God. And God said that He is the judge.
Right.
We are not the judge. Gays, homosexuals, and nobody else. He said we are not the judge. God is the judge.
That's right.
And,
Well,
and
when you look at it and go by Scripture,
together.
the Bible tells us why Sodom and Gomorrah was destroyed.
Yes.
Read Ezekiel 13, and
Yes.
you'll find out why, according to Ezekiel, according to the Bible, why he destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah. And most people never read that. They don't read it, or they read it, don't understand it, or overlook it. And he outlined why he destroyed it. And believe it or not, homosexuality is not even mentioned in there. I'm not condoning anything. Don't go off and tell people I'm condoning this and condoning that. I'm just giving you the truth about what it is. All right, we thank you for your call. We're going to take a short break, and we'll be back in just a moment with Miss Collette Flanagan with Mothers Against Police Brutality. We'll be right back. All right, we're back on Church Information Open Forum. I'm Marion Barnett, your host. And with us this morning is Miss Collette Flanagan. She's with the Mothers Against Police Brutality. Mothers Against Police Brutality. Now, and that brutality covers a lot of issues. It covers more than just death, but just sometimes beatings, brutalized, verbal brutality by our police force. Are you talking about the police force basically here in Dallas, or are you talking about law enforcement nationwide?
Our organization is going to be nationwide. We are headquartered here in Dallas, and we're focused on Dallas right now because Dallas has a huge issue with police brutality.
Some of the cases that you all have studied, well, let me ask you, how did you get involved in this?
I got involved because my son, Clinton Allen, was murdered in March of this year. He was unarmed, 25 years old, and he was shot 7 times by an officer who has 9 excessive force issues on his record, by an officer who should never have been on the police force. And we find that most of these officers that are offending, they have prior issues of excessive force. So these
are, most of them are repeat offenders?
Absolutely.
So the police really know who they are.
They do. And instead of, when these bad apples show us who they are, we must have the courage. Chief Brown has to have the courage to eradicate, to get rid of these officers. We don't need them on the force, because when you endorse a culture and you endorse that behavior, it sends a message to the policemen that are prone to kill or to have excessive force issues. It sends a message to them that it's okay.
So you think Brown is afraid of the police association?
I do. I absolutely do.
Now, you're saying this is sort of giving them straight ahead, a right on, to carry out what's really in them against our community, because there's seem to be no punitive damage or anything that's going to come out of this situation as they brutalize our people. Let me ask you something. And I want to jump to it right quick. We had a situation there down in Dixon Circle. This fella was no bill. When was that? Day before yesterday? That the people, just a large number of people, saw this boy run down and then get shot by the policeman. They say he had nothing on him, didn't have anything, had given up, and the policeman kills him and gets no bill. Is this system where we go down before the court and all of that, and is that just a sham? What's going on? Do policemen ever really get punished for what they're doing?
They could. We have to have leaders.
But do they?
No, they do not. And let me tell you what we found out through open records. You know, we're just not pulling numbers out of the skies. Open records revealed to us that over 68 unarmed men of color have been killed by Dallas policemen since 2001. In my son's case, what got me involved in this is that...
How many?
68, over 68, since 2001. Now, what we know is that there are certain zip codes that we call the hunting grounds. There are certain zip codes where communities are considered disenfranchised. They don't want to call 911, low income, and the police department have written these areas off as bad neighborhoods. And when you look at the men that have been killed, most of the men come from certain zip codes, because history has taught these cops that masquerade themselves as policemen, and they're the ones that are the thugs, not the victims that are being killed, that are painted as always. If you hear about when these young men are killed, they're always on drugs, or they were, just considered a thug. Well, none of these men are armed. So if you're shooting an unarmed man and you have the badge and the gun and the authority, but back to your question.
That grand jury is just going to automatically.
I was getting ready to say, back to your question. What we have found out, and none of the leaders, our so-called leaders in our community, and our communities that are being affected, wants to stand up, because a lot of these communities.
We got a community leader in here this morning. I think might agree with you on that.
Absolutely.
We never hear any of our politicians or anybody ever.
Let me tell you why. What we found out is that these leaders know that this is happening. But we have to stop being in love with the fact that we have a black district attorney. We have to stop being in love with the fact that we have a black chief of police. Because let me tell you, if these people are not doing what they're supposed to do, well then them being black doesn't help our community. And let me tell you this, Craig Watkins can indict a ham sandwich if he wanted to, okay? On his watch, since 2006, over 25 unarmed men have been murdered. Unarmed men have been murdered. And let me tell you how this process works. When an unarmed man is killed, it goes to crimes against person. They do their investigation. It goes to internal affairs. Internal affairs is supposed to be in place, and probably originally started to be to check and balances to make sure that this officer did not break any policies and procedures. That doesn't happen anymore. Internal affairs is there to find loopholes, to find out before they send that investigation to the district attorney's office, what loopholes can we find? It's already been doctored. Absolutely. What loopholes can we find that, and give this officer an excuse? That's why every time you hear these killings, the first thing they say is, I feared for my life, because that's what they've been told. It's like a get out of jail free card. And once they say, I feared for my life, then your son is the one that becomes the criminal. And it doesn't matter until they catch it on tape. It has to be. All the evidence can be there. You can have witnesses, and they would say all the witnesses lied.
They seem like they ignored all those people down on Dixon Circle.
That's what they do. But here is the really sad part of that, is that once the policemen send their investigation to the district attorney's office, Craig Watkins has a monumental opportunity to change his policies and procedures within the district attorney's office to make sure that these victims are getting due process. But he doesn't. And what happens when you let the police investigate their own deaths, own killings? What do you think is going to happen?
Well, it's like the Ku Klux Klan investigating a civil rights case.
So they send these watered-down investigation to the district attorney's office, and the district attorney's office has this secret weapon that no one knows about. James Bagnall, chief officer of integrity from Highland Park, he's been there for like 11 years, and his job is to get together, to put the presentation together for the grand jury.
And really,
and what do you think he does?
There is no evidence presented from the other side with the grand jury.
Absolutely,
it's always one-sided.
One side, and they want to keep it. They want to keep it secret so that they can do whatever they want to do in there. Now, Craig Watkins knows that this goes on. We know that he can indict whoever he wants to because we've seen it. So why don't you get involved in these police shootings and make sure that these victims are getting their due process? Because let me tell you, if the correct information, the witnesses were in those reports, they would have no choice but to come back with a different verdict. But like in the James Harper case, I heard the grand jury said there wasn't enough evidence to indict. What does that tell you? Well, where is the evidence? What happened to it? Why wasn't there enough evidence to indict?
If you got dozens and dozens of witnesses that's saying the opposite of what that police report says, that's they don't consider that evidence.
No. You know,
I wonder, was that even presented?
I doubt it. I doubt it. And one thing that I do know from going to, we found out when our son's case was going to the grand jury. We were there. And let me tell you, they were in that back room for over 4 hours. We weren't allowed to say anything, even as a mother, as a father. We could not go and address the grand jury and tell them about our son. We know our son, you know. James Bagnall and James Hallam in the district attorney's office were the ones that were supposed to be in there pitching and presenting evidence on behalf of Clinton Allen. That didn't happen because let me tell you, we watched them when they came out of that grand jury door. 3 detectives were in there the whole time. So who do you think those detectives were pitching for? For the officer that killed our son. They came out of the grand jury, walked past us, James Bagnall, who works for the district attorney's office, walked past us, went into the hallway, shook the hand of the attorney that was defending James Hallam, shook the hand of the attorney that was defending the officer that shot our son.
Wow.
So what does that tell you?
They were all in cahoots together.
Absolutely. We have to stop being in love with the fact that we have a black district attorney and he exonerated 30 men. Oh, wait, that's great. Those men were innocent and that was his job. We want him to do his job on this. We can't keep living on the high that District Attorney Craig Watkins exonerated, you know, these men. And so what about the men that are dying now? We want him to do his job, get involved, and I hear that now he's going to the commissioner court asking for $500,000, $500,000 to get a civil rights division in his office. But let me tell you, if you don't change the policies and procedures that are already in your office, all you're doing is getting more money to get the same results. We have to have an outside investigative, unbiased company to come in, organization to come in and run an investigation concurrent with the district attorney's office and concurrent with the Dallas Police Department.
What happened to your son?
My son was shot 7 times. He went over a young lady's house to visit her. Apparently, they were supposed to meet up. By the time he got there, somebody else was there, and Clinton was persistent and kept knocking on the door. Now, every day I wish Clinton had left, but here's the thing. We cannot give policemen the authority to be the judge, juror, and executioner. We cannot... being somewhere and not wanting to leave is not... it shouldn't cost you your life. We have incidents where I've talked to other mothers, their sons have been killed because they mouth off. What is that about? You don't get to take someone's life because a young kid that if he had the chance to live, you know, some kids have attitudes or whatever sometimes. They grow out of a lot of things. But our black boys seem to, you know, they don't get the opportunity. We have to teach our black sons when they're
They
13,
can kill 4 people and walk away.
That's right. When they're 13 and 14 years old, you can't ride in a car with 3 of your friends.
Nope.
You know, because you're going to get pulled over.
Right.
You know, and if you get stopped by a policeman, you know, you have to really go into this slave yes sir mentality so that you can live and come home. Why do we have to teach our sons that?
I hear you. 972-647-1893 is the number to call. 972-647-1893. Let's go to line 4 and say good morning to Michael. All righty? All right. Michael, you there?
How you doing? Yes, sir, I'm here.
All right, go right ahead.
I don't think it's Craig Watkins' fault. It's just I'm gonna say this, and I want y'all to understand. I think it is the way the police officer write up the report. He has a lot of things to weigh out. Now he can't, without evidence, say his police officer is lying. You know, telling a lie, just telling the untruth. So it's, you know, you can't put that on his shoulders. if they write the police report right, and you got internal affairs, if they investigate it right, and he gets the right information on his desk, I guarantee you he probably will do the right thing.
So, sir, you're telling me that since 2006, not one police report has been correct. What I'm saying to you is the district attorney's office have investigators themselves. We know that. They go out, they talk to witnesses, and they do their own investigation. They just don't have enough, is what Mr. Watkins is saying, but they do have investigators in the district attorney's office. And those investigators, if they do their job also, they're supposed to investigate, and they're supposed to receive the investigative report from the police department, and then they make a conclusion. So it's not solely supposed to be on the police department's shoulders.
Hello, Michael, you there? I guess he's gone. All righty. 972-647-1893 is the number to call. All righty. Let's go to line 1 and say good morning to Ralph. All righty. Good morning, Ralph. Hello, Ralph?
Hello?
Yes, go right ahead.
This is Rolf.
Rolf, okay. All right.
Yes.
Go right ahead.
I just want to comment. I just want to say, while we're on this same topic, why don't we do a better job in educating and teaching our sons right from wrong? You know,
okay, we're not discussing that topic. We always want to sway away from the topic we're discussing. Yes, that is a situation. That is a topic to be discussed. But we're discussing police brutality toward our sons. Do you believe our sons and daughters? I put them both in there. Do you think many of them have been brutalized by the police?
No, they need to quit acting a fool out there. They need to quit
so our children are the only children in the world that acts a fool.
No, I didn't say ours. I said most of us. I'm down at the West End every day. There's not one time, 1 minute a day, that somebody is acting a fool down there.
But do they have to be brutalized? Why don't this happen to white children?
Well, I mean, that's white, black, purple, whatever.
No, ain't no whatever now, because it's germane to us.
Who do you see acting a fool?
All of them. All of them. I see children of all races acting, and it shouldn't cost them their lives, and it shouldn't be brutalized, because children are children. You acted crazy too when you were young.
Thank you.
We all did. We did some things that we are ashamed of. Yes, we did. Don't tell that. Yes, we did. We all did things. I know you get old and forgetful and everything about how we were, but hey, young people, let me tell you the truth on these old folks. They clown just like you did.
Probably so.
Well,
I'm not saying they should be killed. What I'm saying,
I tell you what, I got to go into my second hour, but everybody, all our lines are full. Y'all just stay tuned, and we'll be right to you. And you'll be hearing from Miss Colette, and we'll also be hearing from Mr. Pitre. We'll be right back in a moment. All right, we're back on Church Information Open Forum. We're back in our second hour, and you can call us at 972-647-1893, 972-647-1893, and join us with the Mothers Against Teen Violence. Miss Collette Flanagan is our special guest this morning. All righty, let's go. 972-647-1893 is the number to call. Miss Flanagan, you say your son was killed by the police. I guess what they call it, domestic violence, or what was it?
They call it what they want to call it. Basically, the officer that responded to the call was basically a hothead officer. Within 8 minutes of responding on the scene, my son was dead. 8 minutes.
Is that right?
8 minutes.
He shot him.
He shot him. He was shot under the arms, consistent with his arms being held, and he was also shot in the back. We have witnesses that saw, and the grand jury would not allow them to testify.
They can't even come before the grand jury.
They subpoenaed them to come, and they made them sit all day and told them that if they left, they would issue a warrant out for their arrest. But all that is intimidation. They wanted to send a message that don't ever get involved and don't ever call yourself being a witness against the police, because as you see, it doesn't work. So we believe that the subpoena, in my opinion, was just a form of intimidation to the witnesses. So next time there's a witness, what do you think most witnesses are going to say? Oh, I did that before. Don't go and do that. They're not going to let you testify. It doesn't matter. They're going to do what they want. So they made a point to call the witnesses just to, in my opinion, to intimidate them and to frustrate them, and they would not allow them to
Do
speak.
people really know the history behind the police?
No, they don't. They have no
They were
idea.
founded by the Ku Klux Klan.
Absolutely. Slave hunters.
Right.
Absolutely.
Uh-huh.
They don't know.
All right, 972-647-1893 is the number to call. Let's go to Yolanda on line 1. Catch line 1 first. All righty. Good morning, Yolanda.
Good morning, Reverend Barnett. How are you today, sir?
Fine. You doing all right?
Yes, sir. I'm blessed.
All right.
I'm just calling to agree with your guest on the brutality and the justice system, just dealing with our district attorney, being a victim of crime or whatever. These people sell us short all the time. They do not want to prosecute or even a regular case, letting on an officer-involved shooting. And I just think it's sad because we voted for this man.
Absolutely.
And, and like you said, we can't take for granted that we elected our race, you know what I mean, to have our best interest, because they don't. When it comes down to it, they'll just dismiss our cases. They don't care, and it's sad, but this is what it is. And they'll find any reason to just dismiss your cases now, saying they don't have evidence or whatever. And we see this constantly. We can't even rely on them to defend us when we do have an issue in court. It could be a minor issue, any type of assault or whatever. They'll find a reason to let these defense attorneys come in and just get away with it. And they cannot for these criminals. That's what they are, police or whatever. They still criminals if they're committing crime and getting away with it.
That's right. That's right.
And I just think it's sad that we have to put up with all this, and we pay taxes.
Well, why we put up with it? Because those who do vote for people in certain situations that they shouldn't vote for. And then there are others who don't vote. There are many times, there are ways of dealing with these problems, and then organizing, like Ms. Flanagan here, organize and coming together and fighting these situations. But like in most cases, we don't get involved until it happens to us personally.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then we don't, and then when we do try to come together and do something, you're going to have someone that's going to always be against it. Just like the gentleman called in saying that our kids acting a fool, and that's true, because I look at them all the time. These youngsters are something else, but at the same time, we have to. The
generation before you thought you was something else.
We did it too, and that's what I tell my son, because I go through the same thing. But it's just the way it is, and so we have.
Every generation think that young generation is just out of their minds.
We have to see.
But even at that, we should not allow our children to be abused and misused by the police department, whom we pay.
And that's what they're doing. They're getting away with it, and they're going to continue to get away with it. Like you said, with these grand juries, they don't have our best interests when they go in there and behind those closed doors. They're presenting evidence that we know they're not putting in, that we know, even if we have witnesses, because just regular cases, they're dismissing them.
All righty. We thank you for your call, 972-647. 1893 972-647-1893. Let's go to line 2 and say good morning to Ike. All righty. Is this Mr. Ike Steen?
Yes, sir. How you doing this
morning? Good morning. How you doing this morning?
Doing great. I'm enjoying the program.
Mr. Barbecue Man.
Don't start, but
boy, it's great.
I was listening to Miss Flanagan and Miss Yolanda that just called, and I'm in 100% agreement with what they're saying. I've been fighting my son's case since 2004. And everything these people are saying about the DA office and the police department is factual. Now, one thing I try to explain to people is this right here. When you come up against a Craig Watkins, and I know we don't want to hear this, but what you got to understand is when you come up against a Craig Watkins, you're coming up against a Pastor Freddie Haynes, because that's his member. And we got to understand people we put in office and people who supports them, because over some of our major churches in Oak Cliff and in Dallas, that's where most of your judges, your police officers, your district attorney, some of your high-power lawyers, they attend these churches. And I try to explain this to people to understand how to go about fighting this system. Now, I met with Miss Flanagan at Justice Seekers, and I want to commend her for starting her organization, Mothers Against Police Brutality.
Okay.
Because in my mind, she wasn't going to make it and get the post she have got just by going with Justice Seekers, which I'm a part of that organization, because I seen her on the news, and they gave her a real good interview. They let her elaborate and talk about the situation. But they would not do people like you, Peter Johnson, or Reverend Wright. They're not going to let y'all talk like that because the media controls, and the media is not going to listen at black men speaking up against the injustice. They're listening to our women. Now, I said that to say this. All this stuff that's going on in this district attorney's office. Now, Craig Watkins, he got a lot of people exonerated. I'm not going to knock that. But it was 11 people exonerated before he got in there that he got credit for. So when we fighting up against this system, that police are killing people and getting away with it. Now, we just voted on Proposition 9.
Okay.
I told people do not vote for Proposition 9 because now what we're doing here is giving Republican judges the power to sit down Democrat judges. So all that's connected. So when you talk about police brutality, I had a situation where the police department tampered with evidence and did everything they could, but like the lady said, Craig Watkins, they don't come in and help us. But we put them in office, and we think that they're going to do us a good job.
Wow.
Chief Brown, I'm going to say this about Chief Brown. We talk about the things that he haven't done, but you have to note this. He did try to indict Officer Spencer, who denied it. A judge denied the police warrant, the arrest warrant, the arrest the officer that we seen on television shoot an unarmed man. So if a judge is
Black
denying
officer.
your police chief a warrant, then it's the system.
All right. You're right, and I agree with you, both of you. All right, 972-647-1893. Thank you, and you are a big supporter of KNON, Mr. Steen. All right, let's go to line 4 and say good morning to Leo, all righty? Good morning, Leo.
Yes, this is Leo. Good morning, Reverend Barnett. I'm sorry.
Yes,
I've been listening to all of this, and I talked to you once before. This is one of Reverend Haynes' members. I talked to you once before. You know this incident about the police. I came up, I could have been killed too. And I'm unarmed, and I don't have any legs or anything. These policemen, just to make a long story short, what's going to happen? People better wake up. We're going to have another L.A. in this town. These police is killing innocent peoples. The man in the chair stood up. What could that man do? Just got shot. This boy here got his hands up just a few weeks ago. Over there, they ran him down in this apartment. Here's a man that's sitting there with his hands up now. What can he do with his hands up? And they blow him away. And
well, now, people, let me explain something. We had this. It was much worse than this in the 80s. We stood up and fought it, and we put a stop. It stopped. It stopped because we marched. We held rallies in downtown Dallas. It stopped. All right, young people, what are we doing today? What are we doing? Are we rallying? Are we fighting? Are we organizing? We have Miss Flanagan. She has the Mothers Against Police Brutality. Are we doing the things that it will take to put an end to our oppression? Are we fighting? Are we coming together? We need to get together. We need to work with each other, do business with one another. These things, all of these things are nothing but symptoms of us being disorganized.
That's right.
Not together. Right. All of these are symptoms.
And we're not together at all, and we have people like this young man call in talking about we the one acting fools. He needs to get out of that crack house and open his eyes, mister, because those are the type of people that's going against us that's fighting.
Mm-hmm.
And this lady that's got this started, I want to get her. You give her my number, and I want to get in touch with her because I agree with her all the way.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that young man, Reverend Haynes, that just got through speaking, I'm so glad because I haven't heard anything, and I'm just right close to one of his oldest members down there. But then I'm gonna let all that go. But I agree with this lady all the way, and I'd like to get more in touch with her because I'm gonna have to go before a judge next week, within the next week or two.
Mm-hmm.
See.
All right.
A long divorce, but I want to be in on this.
Okay.
We need to stick together. We need to get together and stick together.
All righty then.
Thank you very much.
Would y'all put him on hold and get his number? 972-647-1893. Let's go to Dallas already. I guess that's her name. Dallas? She's on line 2. All right. Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
Hello?
Good morning, Dallas.
How you doing?
Fine. Is this male or female?
I'm a male.
Oh, I got female on here. Okay, all right. Go right ahead, Dallas. Uh-huh.
Well, what I wanted to say is that I'm a truck driver, and I've lived in almost every major state in the United States anyway. I'm 53 years old. And I've seen a whole lot of injustice. And white people act like this stuff don't exist. But like they say, it's the system.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that black people are coming up, like Black President Obama and our numbers to vote people into office and different things like that in the education. And it's like that old Jim Crow slavery mindset that white people feel like they got to keep us in our place.
Mm-hmm.
So they really seem to be...
Well, now, if you will listen to one of the callers, you got black people saying that we need to stay in our place.
Well, see, there's always been them house black N-words that Uncle Tom said, I mean, white people is better than apple pie and hot dogs and pizza at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
They can't do no wrong.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, to me, it's like, well, you guys making an impact because black people do need to wake up. No matter if you get an education, a PhD, or whatever, they send the jobs overseas.
No.
They changing requirements. Your education don't mean nothing because you didn't take certain courses related to the real world, business world, or something. I mean, they changing the standards even though blacks are doing the right thing, and it's just like saving for retirement. 30 years you save, and they wipe you out with what they call a recession. So, I mean, all this stuff is calculated to keep suppression alive. This is an apartheid America. And now that white people numbers are going down, they're getting more desperate. And to keep us in our place, they have unleashed the police. I believe it takes black people coming together, like on your show, and suing these people and getting the Justice Department involved and just keep going forward.
All righty. Thank you for your call. Colette, jump in.
Well, you know, the thing that we have to remember is that we have the power to do what we need to do if we would exercise our right to vote. And people hear that all the time. They go, oh, I don't want to vote, I want to vote. But we're going to be holding a session at the Dixon Circle. We're still trying to facilitate an area because we know people have a lot of answers in that community. But what that community needs to know is that it's thousands of people in that community. And if they all got together and decided no more James Harpers, we wouldn't have a district attorney that would not give our sons due process. A couple of thousand votes or 1,000 votes could change an election. So we have to teach people, you must do it. You're part of America. It's if you want to change your community, we can get on these shows and we can talk and we can pontificate and we can exchange ideas, but without action, When we protested during the summertime, we protested the district attorney's office week after week, and we would have to get on the phone to get 50 people down. We would be on the phone. It would take a whole week of babysitting and getting people and begging and pleading, just come for 30 minutes. But we did it. But what I'm saying is we have to get more involved because, listen, we have people in office that have different agendas. And let me give you an example. And I would not be giving you this example if I did not have a tape to prove it.
Go right ahead.
District Attorney Craig Watkins would not speak with me. Now, I voted for him.
Mm-hmm.
He would not speak to me. I'm a voter.
He wouldn't give you an audience?
Would not speak to me. We did speak to some people in his office. So we found out that he was having a tailgate party on Martin Luther King. Mm-hmm. So we went out with our signs, and all of our protests have been very peaceful. And our district attorney came across the street and confronted me and asked me, why are you ruining my party? You're out here ruining my party. I take issues with this sign, D.A. Watkins won't convict killer cops. You're trying to ruin my reputation. I was trying to help you. I'm done now. 4 days later, we were in the grand jury. So what is that called? That's retaliation.
Is that right?
That's right. And we have it on tape. So what I'm telling you is when you have people in office, know who you're voting for, and I don't care if they're a Democrat or Republican, you need to find out what their agenda is before you vote for people, because your vote is golden. You can't vote for somebody because they're black or because they're white. You need to know what that person is going to do for you in your community. And if
but in Dallas, you don't have to promise anything.
Absolutely. And that's the problem. That's the problem.
They come out of nowhere.
Absolutely.
All right, 972-647-1893. I tell you what, we're up against a short break. You'll call us on the line. Just hang on the line. I'll take more calls as soon as we come back. All right, we're back on Church Information and Open Forum. I'm Marion Barnett, your host. Miss Collette Flanagan is our guest this morning. She's with Mothers Against Police Brutality. Are you the founder?
Yes, I am.
All right, the founder of Mothers Against Police Brutality. If you have questions or comments on this particular topic this morning, give us a call, 972-647-1893. All righty, let's go to line one and say good morning to Carl. All righty, good morning, Carl.
Good morning, Reverend Barnett and your guest. Yes, I was calling again. I called before and to tell you about this book, and the author of this book was called The Permit. And the police killed this guy's son, even though he had a permit to carry. He was a West Point graduate, and the father was he was an Air Force pilot, and he did a lot of things in the Air Force, and so they were a very reputable family, and he in his book he shows exactly what you go through to get justice for your case. He was saying it's hard to get a criminal conviction against the police because they have this thing called what is it called? It's called some type of exception. You could have like 100 witnesses, and they just got 3 or 4, and the law is gonna go on their side. So it would be nice if you could have them on the show. You guys could contact them. The book is called The Permit.
And who you say the author of this book is?
What's that? Say it again.
Who's the author?
I don't know his name.
Do you know the publisher?
No, sir.
You said, but the name of the book is The Permit.
He's been on the radio a couple times, and the book came out in 2009.
Okay, we can look it up. We'll look it up on the computer. We'll look it up, and you said The Permit. We'll find him. I'd like to read it and see how interesting it really is. But I thank you for that information. All righty.
You're quite welcome, Reverend. What's the name of your church again?
Heavenly Joy. We're located at Brutality Masters right there in the Pleasant Grove area.
I'm going to check you out. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, sir. All righty. 972-647-1893. Let's go to 3 and say good morning to James. All righty. Good morning, James.
Yes, good morning, Reverend Barnett. James in Palestine. I appreciate and enjoy everything been said already. I appreciate all the good information. I would like to say there's so many things I'd like to make a reference to, but we need to, before she go off there, please play her information slowly so we can, I want to become a part of that also. But we need to educate our people on civil rights and divine rights. Early on in the program, there's callers arguing about biblical rights like gay and all of that. In Christ, there is no male, female, Jew, or Gentile, and none of that. So we're tying ourselves up on something that's going to hold us up. We need to just come together as one and let's work on the problems that we're having. Like, I appreciate this, the lady there, and just like the Mothers Against Drunk Driving, she needs to take that to the school, the churches, to Austin, to Washington, state to state, and we just gather like a snowball with what she has going, because it is a problem having to resort to that old slave mentality to try to at least make it to your home that day when you run into a white officer or some stupid officer that look like us or somebody else that's got a mentality problem.
Well, let me, James, let me give this information out. Contact Mothers Against Police Brutality. Email is Mothers Against Police Brutality at gmail.com. Mothers Against, at gmail.com. And her phone number is 214-989-8888. 214-989-8888. I'm sure there are a lot of you listening out there who would like to talk with her because you are in a situation that has lent its hand. The police brutality has been a part of your family, a part maybe happened to you or whatever, and she's here fighting this problem, and no use in us pretending that it don't exist. It does. It does. Yes, sir, because when you are seen riding in a car, and the police pull up behind you, y'all going down the street, if you're African American, 9 times out of 10, you are terrified because you don't feel like he's there to protect and serve you. You feel like he's there to harass you. And we have those fears, and those fears are warranted over the years that the police departments, I don't care where you go, people have that same feeling about the police. So, yes, her phone number is 214. 989-8888.
The media always going to color us. Whenever you get an African American male or female and they have some kind of charge on you, they always want to go back and pull up your past from juvenile or some criminal past to try to paint you as worthy of being accused or shot or done whatever like that. And George Zimmerman and this rich kid up there, they just smoothly can walk away. But like we talked last Saturday, down here in Palestine, Texas, in Anderson County, the probation officers, the court-appointed attorneys, and all of them, and the DA, all of them in cahoots together, and in the Metroplex up there and everything. We just all need to come together with those that's in the church that's not scared. Let's all come together and do something about this throughout Texas and just roll across the United States of America. We can stop this. But
still, I go back to the old thing, the old adage. We don't become involved until it happens to us personally.
You're right, reactive rather than proactive.
Right.
I thank you so much, Reverend Barnett.
All righty, thank you.
And your guest. Good morning.
All right, thank you. 972-647-1893 is that number to call. 972-647-1893. Do we have others who have joined in with you to work on this situation of police brutality? How has it been? Have you had an easy time recruiting people?
When we formed the Mothers Against Police Brutality organization, it has been wonderful. We have organizations like Dallas Communities Organizing for Change, who is responsible for putting together these numbers that show that 75% of these unarmed killings are Black and Hispanics. Until they put these numbers together, they've been working 3 years getting open records and fighting the police department and having to petition the Attorney General.
Have Hispanics joined your organization?
Unfortunately, not. We have.
So it's just like it always is.
Absolutely. We've reached out to Hispanic organizations, and we still welcome them. You know, we need them because they're sons.
But basically, this is a Black organization fighting for brutality against people, period.
Well, our organizations, we have a coalition, and let me tell you this. We have had a lot of progressive white people.
I didn't ask about whites.
That have been involved.
I asked you, did have Hispanics join your... See, we fought this fight for years and years. It's the same thing coming down the pike. I know the person that contacted me about you, John Fullenwater. We've been friends for years and years. We worked together. We fought to save West Dallas, to put it where it is today. We fought this. But I see people will come in only... Don't get discouraged. That's why I'm saying this to you. Don't get discouraged. Because people aren't going to come to you until they need you.
Absolutely.
Once they need you. Back right now, there are somebody sitting out there right now really will not care to be a part of your organization, have anything to do with you, and let something happen, they're going to run to you. That's just the way we have been conditioned.
That happen. Yes.
That's the way we are conditioned.
Yes.
If it's not happening at my doorstep, I don't care. And then once it comes to your doorstep, we all go crazy, and then you want help, you want people to join in. Instead of us coming in and volunteering, instead of get from in front of the television, make your time worthy here on earth, and do something to help yourself and others who look like you, because nobody else is going to look out for you but you.
Absolutely.
Well, now, what is your next move? What are y'all planning to do?
Well, our next move is that our coalition, along with DCOC and some other organizations, we are going to, we're in the process of fighting this 72-hour rule policy that Chief Brown put into place. And as the gentleman was saying before, you know, if you have witnesses, the witnesses doesn't matter. They won't take none of that in consideration. So we know that when Bennett was shot, the white gentleman that was mentally challenged, and it was caught on video, a Black officer shot him.
That's rare.
That's very rare. But you see what happened to him. You see.
Oh yeah, they went after him.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So.
But he shot a white man.
Yeah, he shot a white man.
All right.
And listen, I don't think any mother's sons should be shot unarmed. I mean, there's no reason to shoot and kill an unarmed man. But listen, because that was caught on video, Chief Brown went into action and said, oh my God, so this officer lied. We've been telling him for years that you have officers out there that are executing our men, because when you see an unarmed man been shot 7 and 9 times, that's an execution. So, and you have evidence and you have forensics, but because it wasn't caught on camera, you tell us that forensics are lying, all the witnesses are lying. But this one particular time, it was caught on camera, and the officer had already apparently given his statement. So now Chief Brown said, oh my God, we can't have that. So that we don't get caught in the situation, and so that our policemen don't get caught lying, instead of getting rid of policemen that lie, so that our policemen don't get caught lying, let's implement this 72-hour rule that says that when you shoot someone, you don't have to talk. And while we're out on the ground investigating what happened, you and your attorney stay at home, and then we'll call you in, and you can view all the video that we have. You can look at all the statements that we have. Then you give us a statement, and you can tailor it around what we have to make sure it fits.
So in other words, they don't get T-boned. In other words,
absolutely. So my question is,
they doctor this thing up.
Even if you don't even believe in police brutality, if something is wrong with you and you don't believe in that, but if you are a leader and have fought civil rights in this city, that policy alone should be enough to get leaders up and say, wait a minute.
Okay, what political leaders y'all have supporting you?
We have no political leaders supporting us. None. We have people from out of state supporting us. We have an organization that brought a federal investigation against the police department in Austin that's helping us. We're in the process of putting together a federal complaint against the Dallas Police Department. And so we have outside organizations that have come in because not one leader, not one political alliance will line up in Dallas. They all sit on the sideline and just hope that it will go away.
You got help from NAACP?
Never.
They've never helped you?
Not a phone call.
Not a phone call?
Never.
Why do you think these politicians and so-called civil rights organizations and all this, why won't they help you?
Well, I think that they're just all in political bed together. I think that, you know, you have a lot of so-called civil rights leaders that now get subsidies from the city of Dallas. You know, they're rehabbing houses, or you know, they're getting grants or whatever. The churches are backing a lot of these people, and have put a lot of effort to put them into office, and a lot of churches are our getting grants. So, you know, those things are more important than lives. And you have to remember that even in our own communities, we've been conditioned to think that if our son got shot by the police, he must have been doing something wrong.
We don't have one? You don't have one political elected official helping you?
Not one.
You don't have one?
Not one.
That would come out and stand and say that we need to put an end.
Not one. And these are the same people that are mailing our listeners, your listeners, every week saying, vote for me. You know, the primaries are coming up in March. Vote for me. Vote for my judges. You know, vote for me. I'm running for senator again, or state representative. But not one of those people, and they know who we are. They know who we are. Not one of these people have come forward.
All right. 972-647-1893 is the number to call. 972-647-1893. Let's go to line one and say good morning to Claudia. All righty. Good morning, Claudia.
Well, good morning, Reverend Barnett, and good morning, Miss Collette Flanagan. How are you?
Good morning, Claudia.
I just one quick comment, Reverend Barnett. I just want the leaders to understand, me and our leaders such as in David Brown and you know, Craig Watkins, that now it's a new sheriff in town. And if they think the Collette Flanagan and the MAPD, Mothers Against Police Brutality, which I am a part of, is playing with them, they got another thing coming, because we are fed up. When I look at TV and see a young man that says, I'm in school, I got 2 little girls, I had my hands up, and then this cop is allowed to shoot him, and this is the same young woman. I don't know if this is information that you all have gotten. This is the same police woman that was called to the Cook's household when DeVecchio Patrick killed her. This is the one that stopped by and got the bottle of water, and they stopped by 7-Eleven and chit-chatted or whatever.
Yeah, after he received a call, he stops by a convenience store and, you know, takes his time.
This is the same Anglo
this is a female
police woman.
Wait a minute, this was a woman? I've always thought that was a man.
No, this was a female, Reverend Barnett and Colette.
And she didn't come to the rescue of another female?
No, did not. No, this is the same one in the DeVecchio Patrick situation. This is the same one that shot this young man over here in Pleasant Grove. Now, like I told them, when is enough going to be enough? But like I said, if they think that Collette Flanagan is playing with them, they got another thing coming, because she ain't. It's a new sheriff in town. All right. So you got some more calls. Gotta go. Y'all take care. Let's keep up the good work.
All right,
Claudia.
Thank you, Claudia. I knew the young lady that's talking about Cook. I remember when she was a kid. She was a great track star. She could really run. I remember as a child.
Really?
Yes, and that really got me. But as more information poured in on this, they'd always say the officer, but I was taken for granted, which I guess my own prejudice, I was taken for granted this was a male. But this was a white male that stopped by the convenience store, got her some coffee and everything before she decided she'd go on the call. Okay, was she ever reprimanded behind this?
I doubt it. We couldn't find anything that...
Our chief never did anything about that?
We couldn't find anything that she was... she gave a report, and you have to remember...
Did she put that convenience store on there?
I think that came up through some investigative... I don't think she put that on there. I think it came out.
So, I mean, you're not going to make me think that we have a chief that's naive enough to believe that these poor officers don't doctor these reports. Now, he's been there long enough to know he knows better than that. We need to quit excusing people
absolutely
for their ill will. That's it's just that
Reverend Barnett,
that important.
When you look at the numbers, over 68 unarmed men since 2001. So what the Dallas Police Department wants the community to believe, that every single one of those shootings were justified. Do you know the odds in that? I wish I had those odds in Vegas. That's like going to Vegas and lining up 68 slot machines.
You'd have a better chance of winning that Mega Millions.
It's just as impossible. It just is impossible. So, but because history have taught these policemen that are prone to kill and these leaders that endorse their behavior and create this culture for them to thrive, have taught them that if they shoot in certain neighborhoods that they can get away with it. Instead of having, when policemen have problems with excessive force and they know that this policeman is a powder keg, instead of getting rid of this policeman, you know what they do? They'll transfer him in a certain neighborhood where in case this idiot kills somebody, we'll put him somewhere where we know that families won't fight back.
Right. I'll tell you what, we'd like to thank Ms. Collette Flanagan for being part of our program this morning. And again, you can get her, you can email her at Mothers Against Police Brutality at gmail.com. Mothers Against Police Brutality, gmail.com. Or you can reach her on the phone at 214-989-8888. Thank you, Ms. Flanagan. Thank you for being part of the program. And when we come back, we'll be getting our job line. We'll hear a few words from Mr. Robert Pitre. We'll be right back. All right, we're back on Church Information and Open Forum. I'm Marion Barnett, your host. And right now we have with us Mr. Robert Pitre, Dallas leader, Dallas landowner, Dallas businessman. And good morning, Mr. Pitre.
Good morning, Reverend Dr. Burnett.
Well, as always, we facing the same old bear out there. Boy, it's tough. What do you got going on? What's on your mind?
Well, Reverend, the landowners around UNT, you know, we've been talking for years about the city of Dallas not putting basic infrastructure around UNT.
More politicians. Huh?
Yeah, politicians, very weak. You know, and it's really, you know, it's something when the city of Dallas is part of is leading the conspiracy because the not having basic infrastructure, you know, Kaufman, Terrell, all these little country towns have basic infrastructure, but the most valuable property right now in southern Dallas don't have basic infrastructure, and it's because the city of Dallas is trying to keep the values down for developers to come in and take our property.
In other words, you could develop it if it had
basic infrastructure. Now, what they're doing,
just basic services. When we're talking about, you're talking about water, sewage, different things
that we could tap into, not run to our property. That we could just tap into. When you look at, here's a DOT is extending that blue line from Ledbetter to UNT, adjacent to Skyline Ranch and adjacent to the Barber's property and other black and landowners' property. And they're saying to DOT, you're going to have to put your station on a septic tank system because, and they're not saying this part, but this is the other part, because if we ran a sewer line and water to that station, then the black landowners around that station will be able to tap in to that line, and the value of their property would go up, and they will be able to develop their property. Now, I'm going to show you how the city of Dallas, University Hills, which used to be Houston School Road. Now they widened that from 2 lanes to 6 lanes.
All right.
When they widened that road, all they had to do was put a sewer line. It's gravity flow all the way down to Camp Wisdom and to the north side of Camp Wisdom. The city of Dallas would not put a sewer line in there because the land was owned by blacks.
What politician did this?
This came up, it was during Fantroy's time. With that, he didn't fight, but they fell in the hands of the city because the city wants to control all the land around UNT. See, and what's
now,
happening?
who are some of these people
Right now,
the city that control that?
Right now, Tanea Atkins is that person that's in position for as the council person. Now, he came out and he said to us, if you all get if y'all get the sewer that you want, then you're going to want too much money for your land when the developers come to buy it. Now, nobody have a for sale sign on their property that I know of.
Right.
You understand? So, but his deal is that if he could catch a ride with the developers, and he feels that he can make him some money when he leave that council. But it's wrong for him to be a representative for people in that own land in that district and side with these white developers, because this is all about white people.
Yeah, but now white people not going to buy that land until you got infrastructure in there.
Right. Now, in the 2000...
So in other words, once they get it away from y'all, they will put in infrastructure.
And tell you what, in the 2000 bond program, they put $5 million in there for basic infrastructure.
Right.
And the taxpayers in Dallas voted for it. But they wouldn't put it, they're saying they're going to hold that $5 million back. They're going to hold that back. But now, in the bond program, it was $642 million. They spending $328 million on the east side of downtown. They wouldn't even put money in that area for blacks. And see, it's just so unfair that we continue to deal with problems like this.
You have blacks representing you.
We have black, but see, it's about how do I benefit? Most of our people that's in political office is in political office
just cannot bring themselves to believe this.
But I know, but people need to understand that. See,
I got people sitting out there right now. They really don't believe it. They're upset with you. They just don't believe you telling the truth about our good politicians.
Right. Let me just say something. You made me.
We got the best politicians money can buy.
Right. You made me think about something that was said to me by Tanea Atkins one day, and we were out at a reception, and he said that he didn't give a blank about nobody but his wife, children, and grandchildren. Now, this is a statement that he made. This is his position. And this man represents black people in this city, and we still continue to vote for him and support him, but we don't make our politicians accountable. See, they don't have to be accountable. All they do is get our vote, go down there and do their own thing, and try to hook up with these white folks.
Basically, we need to do shows on explaining the duties of these politicians. The reason why they aren't held accountable, a lot of times people don't really know what they're supposed to be doing. And I can hear people come to me with problems. I said, did you call your council person? Did you call your state representative? You call your state senator, your commissioner? Did you call any of these people? No. I said, who's your council person? Who's your whatever office? I don't know. See, they don't know the basic structure of our political system, and they don't know who's really there, supposed to be there to represent them and aid them.
But they're the ones that's calling the shots for the black community.
But people just don't seem to understand that they got somebody there that they can call on.
That they should be able to call on.
They should be able to call on, because these people were voted in by the people.
Right.
And maybe we, I don't know how had they taken civics out of the school systems?
Just common sense. I mean, we have to deal with just common sense. when the playing field is not fair. You know, it's kind of like a situation where you're running 100 yards. And you start on the 1 yard line, and these other people start on the 80-yard line, and you're running 100 yards. Now they got 80-yard head start on you,
yeah, 20
and you
yards
got
ago.
right.
Yeah.
But you could beat them. You could still beat them.
If you started even.
Right. No, but you could beat them. I beat them from starting on the 1 and they were on the 80.
Right.
But I mean, but they're not going to give you the victory.
Well, let's bring on another homeowner in that area.
Landowner.
I'm sorry, landowner in that area. Let's bring on our job line and say good morning to Mr. Greg. Greg, are you there?
Good morning, Reverend Barnett.
Hey, Greg, how you doing, man?
I'm doing all right.
And Greg, kind of talk about and explain where they could hear it from more than one person. Your family own land, and just express to them what's happening to us as landowners around UNT. And the Dart Station going to be about 5 yards from that property.
Is that right?
Yeah.
It is a situation, Reverend Barnett, to where this particular, they can't go any farther north. They must come south, and this is one of the immediate parcels of land that is available and undeveloped. But it's the reason why it's been undeveloped. Why? Because the city refuses to allow access to city services. Access in a modern day.
Are y'all in the city? Wait a minute. Are y'all in the city limits of Dallas?
Yes, we are. City limits, county limits. Yes,
great.
We are within the confines of the city limits of Dallas.
Which just basic infrastructure should be provided for you.
But Greg, tell him that you don't have water, you don't have electrical, you don't have a storm drain, you don't have
anything.
Right, you don't have nothing.
So in other words, if you live there, you'd have to be a unit house.
Right, and you'd have to get you some type of
water storage.
Right, you don't even have electricity.
Is that right?
I mean, this is the hardball they're playing.
Inside the city limits of Dallas.
In the most valuable piece of property, you got a university there where the state of Texas have invested over $300 million. Dart is building a $250 million rail line that's going to stop right there at the property.
But
all of this wealth around there, but they won't even put in basic infrastructure.
Well, if whites own this land, I hope whites are listening. If whites own this land, they wouldn't have a problem. Because, and see, what we don't understand, and white people have to understand, they feel like this playing field is fair. You know, they want to say, okay, just pull yourself up by your bootstrap.
Yeah.
We don't have boots. And then
you don't have boots.
In other words, they've cut your legs out from under you.
Right. And then we won't stand up for nothing.
That's right.
And keep electing the same people who are still just misusing and abusing our people.
That's right. And I mean, they attacking me because of the position that I've taken, but I'm going to fight them to the end. And I'm going to tell the truth. Two articles was written in the Dallas Observer paper last week telling the same thing that Greg and I are saying right now today. I mean, this deal here, man, is just so unfair. But when you look at Grow South, and they give 450 acres to to AT&T and a $20 million check to build a private country club. We ain't gonna benefit by that.
That's not for us.
Right.
Yeah. I tell you what, we got to get our job line in. Greg, are there jobs out there?
There are some jobs out here this morning on our SAT job line solutions and access today job line at UT Southwestern Medical Center. Look, customer service representatives asking you to apply at www.jobapplication2.swmed.org. Once again, that's UT Southwestern Medical Center is looking for customer service representatives. They're asking you to apply online at www.jobapplication2.swmed.org. Cisco Corporation is looking for a warehouse selector. They're asking you to apply online at www.ch.tbe.taleo.net. Once again, that web address is www.ch.tbe.taleo.net.
www.city-of-carrollton.net. City of Carrollton is looking for a maintenance worker. They're asking you to apply online at www.cityofcarrollton.com/jobs, JOBS. Once again, that's City of Carrollton is looking for a maintenance worker. They're asking you to apply online at www.cityofcarrollton.com/JOBS. Napa is looking for a warehouse associate. They're asking you to apply online at www.jobs.genpt.com. Once again, that web address is www.jobs.genpt.com. PPG Warehouse is looking for warehouse shipper and courier. They're asking you to apply online at www.ppg.taleo.net. Once again, that web address is www.ppg.taleo.net. If you are a child-loving, patient, energetic individual and would like to work in a daycare setting, the number for inquiry is 972-290-4995. Once again, if you are a child-loving, patient, and energetic individual and would like to work in a daycare setting, the number for inquiry is 972-290-4995. If you are a person affected by addiction and needs assistance with your recovery efforts, the number for inquiry is 214-634-2722. Once again, if you're a person affected by addiction and need assistance with your recovery efforts, the number for inquiry is 214-634-2722. Today is a good day if you're looking for a job to find one. Let me repeat that. Today is a great day if you're looking for a job to find one. I want to wish all the readership out there a Merry Christmas. Enjoy the holidays. It's the time of family and friends. And with that, we bring our SAT job line to a close.
All right. Thank you, Greg. Great job as always, Mr. Greg Barber. Great job as always with our Solution in Action Today job line. Thank you. All righty. It's time for us to get out of here. We'd like to thank all of you listening. I thank all of you for calling. I'm the senior pastor of Heavenly Joy Church. We're located at Brooding Masters here in the city of Dallas, where we praise the Lord and teach the people. Lord, you'll enjoy worshiping with us. So come by and see us. Amen. Service again at 11 o'clock, Sunday school 9:30, Bible study at 7 on Wednesday evening. And just a lot of things going on, but y'all have a wonderful, wonderful, happy, Merry Christmas. And just remember the real reason for the season, and don't forget it. So I'd like to thank everyone. Thank Doc Dockery. He's filming and helped produce this show. Liv, she produces this show. She was our news director here on KNON. Hope y'all have a Merry Christmas, and everybody. And we'd like to thank Miss Collette Flanagan and Mr. Robert Pitre for all being a part of the program this morning. So y'all have a wonderful, wonderful week. Bye-bye.